welcome to the 13th house. Come on in, take your shoes off, make yourselves at home. Let's get weird for a little bit, shall we? If you're new here, welcome to the weirdness. It is going to be exactly that. If you're returning, thank you so much for finding something here worth returning to. As always, your perception is your responsibility, okay? Use your discernment and only take what resonates. It's a collective message, so every little thing may or may not resonate with your specific situation. So only take what does and just leave the rest for who it's for. Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's just dive on into it. We have Lilith, the dark moon, repressed feelings, emotions surfacing, the shadow, darker sexuality, dark dreams, raw feminine power, and secrets. And then we have the shadow is sacred. What you resist becomes your reflection. What you embrace becomes your power. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your raw, unpolished brilliance. Truth wrapped in pain, waiting to be held in reverence. Witness, do not exile. Alrighty, that kind of goes right along with, I've been picking up quite a bit, moving through the collective subconscious regarding mental health. So trigger warning on that. I am going to be mentioning stuff with mental health, okay? Particularly what they want to define as personality disorders. Okay, we have sovereign flame. You do not need permission to rise. You do not need to earn your freedom. You were born crowned. Now act like it. Yes, exactly that. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the 9th house. Travel in contact with foreigners, higher consciousness, expanded knowledge, higher learning, inspiration, visions, vicarious living, moral and ethical consciousness, court procedures, legal practice, publishing, lecturing, broadcasting, fame, being known abroad, and notoriety. Oh, this is intriguing. Considering what I was picking up on regarding the whole mental health thing. Alright, and I want to make it very abundantly clear that this is not going to be for everyone. Alright, even if you have some of the mental disorders that, stood out in the energy, this still may not even, anyways, whoever you are, you may have been diagnosed with something like DID, okay? Borderline personality disorder, and like something like schizophrenia, okay? And it never was anything so severe where you yourself noticed that it was causing, like, severe issues in your life. However, it made those around you uncomfortable. Alright, and your family pressured doctors and stuff to push a diagnosis on you, so because it made them more comfortable. They could have something to say that, oh, that's just this disorder, that disorder, okay? Because they didn't understand you and what it is you're tuned into, okay? And some of what came through really resonated very deeply with me, especially regarding, like, if you have a polyfragmented system, okay? I don't ever say anything about it, but I'm just going to say I resonate very deeply with that, and I empathize greatly. Now, whether or not you've integrated your system, okay, or if this is just someone you know, maybe not you personally, alright, if your systems are in remission, whatever, okay, this is important because there were a lot of things that happened to you that imposed this disorder upon you. And it's not even that it's a disorder, it's a natural response, okay? It's not something that needs to be fixed or whatever, and that's like, the DSM-5 has been such, like, it's like a manual for fucking psychological torture, in my opinion, because there's just so much that is guessed. And you have individuals that try to set a baseline of what normal is, and it's just, it's so fucked, okay? And your system is a reflection of Source, right? The way Source, the fractal nature of Source, right? And you might be able to host several identities and then be able to come through seamlessly. All right. A lot of people may not even catch it or notice it, but anyway, restitution at the bottom of the deck. So with Lilith, we have scandal. Okay, so this is part of what I was talking about, was some of the stuff that was done to you was intentional. Okay, because you may have had tests done on you or something when you were younger. Maybe you were very smart. They called you gifted, what have you. And however the attention was brought to that unique capability of yours, okay, it caused you to be targeted, and they separated you from your peers, and they wanted to see what they could do with that, what potential would be held, okay? And so they put you through a lot of shit to see what they could shape, what they could mold out of you. It's really sick. But they do these kind of things. And you know, like something like MK Ultra is very, very much like what I'm talking about here. They never stopped that program. They just renamed it and classified it as another thing, alright? They never stop when it comes to the mind and trying to hijack the psyche, okay? And what the scandal is to keep you from your core self, or to keep your core self from identifying with the rest of your system, right? To have every fractal part of you in constant battle with your core identity, your core self, for the light of awareness, to be able to front more often than any of the others, okay? They wanted this internal battle always going on, and they wanted to create space for them to create personalities tailored to whatever they wanted, so that they could have a handler that would create a certain external stimuli, what have you, and it would immediately call forth a certain identity, a certain whatever that was put into your system, okay? But here with the shadow is sacred, all right? What you resist becomes your reflection. What you embrace becomes your power. You had something happen over like the past 10 years, I'm getting, that began to pull your system together. All right, and it wasn't that it was full integration and then it's just healed, but it was like all these parts started to work together. And instead of you resisting what they are based on what you were told they are, based on what others' perception of it could be, and you really started making time to learn how to co-host with these energies, with these presences, with these identities, okay? And you found that they're not just byproducts of trauma and all this. Like, they've always been a part of your system. This is why I'm saying it's not for everyone who might have these disorders, okay? And with propagation of light, this healing and this integration of these polyfractal systems, okay, has a ripple effect. And because, you know, consciousness exists outside of our body, it moves through our minds, it interacts with our system, and it has like feedback data that comes out of you, and then it inputs information and so on and so forth. We know this. And so you as one being able to host several within yourself, each one, whichever is fronting whenever, as consciousness moves through, it's getting certain information, certain data, certain feedback from them, and also communicating with them specifically. All right, and some of your alters have different gifts, different, just a plethora of different perspectives, okay, all held within one system. This is amazing because with this propagation of light, you know, consider the fact that you have one altar that's fronting and they hold something very particular, okay, a certain skill, a certain know-how of something, and when consciousness moves through, it shares it with that, okay, and that consciousness moves out, okay, through into another person, and it branches out, and pieces of this go here, 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 into that person, that person, that person, that person, because it's like thought suggestion, right? Anyway. And so, propagation of light. Sovereign flame, you do not need permission to rise, but now act like it. Laziness and neglectfulness. Alright, so, you might have others who, don't understand like the severity of what you go through at times. They might be perceiving like your rough days as you being lazy, okay? When you're co-hosting with several of these parts of yourself at once, it can be very exhausting, internally exhausting, okay? And that pulls off of the energy that your body has to use throughout the day. And it's really funny because the laziness and neglectfulness also talks about how your system, there's something about the way that the energies and stuff neglected by the collective. There's something about your system that the shadows and things like that are drawn to, because you have a unique ability to cleanse, to purify, to alchemize, and align these darker energies, right? To bring balance to the light. Like you balance them out with the light. And through that, you give them purpose, you give them meaning, you give them substance, right? Outside of just being seen as something that's associated with some sort of illness or disorder or disease. And that's a really powerful gift, you know what I'm saying? Like that's... But others in the collective may not even be aware that you're doing this. And it's like so much being put on one individual who happens to hold such a layered system, because it's not just one system with fractal parts, it is polyfragmented, which is like, you think of like a computer tower, right? And it holds multiple motherboards, multiple like, and all the systems are interwoven, connecting, sharing data here, sharing data, and it's, you're like a fucking supercomputer. You are like a fucking quantum human. You are able to navigate probabilities, variables, and all this other shit so fast because of this. And they wanted to call it a disorder. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Anyway, what do you want us to know about here with this scandal with Lilith? Betrayal, deceit, disloyalty, conspiracy, broken bonds, right? Yeah. Part of this is because, like, some people, so you have, like, you have individuals, and this is quite sad, you know what I was talking about with, before in other videos, like, who want to take another's personality, identity, essence, what have you, and adorn themselves in it, right? And they do that not knowing how another person learned to embody what they do in the unique way that they do it. And they end up making a mockery of the essence that they're trying to embody, or they collapse under the weight of it. And for someone who carries a lot of the heavy weight that the collective has neglected and refuses to face, I don't think these individuals understand what comes with trying to copycat that energy. It can cause them to go completely insane, to be completely just, their consciousness collapses in upon itself. because it's just too much pressure, and they don't have the structure, the foundation to hold all of it, so it collapses. You get what I'm saying? And you have these movies and shit like Split and Glass that kind of make certain disorders and shit like glamorized. Like they romanticize it. They try to make it all cutesy, okay? And it's not to say that individuals who have these disorders and quote unquote disorders don't have cute little quirks and things like that. We all have cute quirks and shit about us, okay? You don't have to have any of this stuff to be quirky and cute and stand out, right? And so you have people that further distort the conception or the notion that people have regarding these disorders. And then you have individuals that feel like they can come into your life and hang out with you and say, oh, you're faking it. You can tell when people are faking shit like that. Like, let's be real. We all try to be very polite and try to do the whole thing of, you know, don't be mean, all inclusive, all accepting. But at some point, these people need to be told, like, it's painfully obvious that, you know, you're performing. And the performance is just, it's, anyways, whatever. But to go even deeper, in my opinion, these type of things are done in a way to get the collective to not take them as seriously, because there are certain organizations and stuff who attempt to weaponize individuals who show a predisposition to be able to hold these kind of things, right? And it's really fucked up. They'll use individuals to be like a sleeper cell, okay? Or their handler can impose like or orchestrate a certain series of events, and it trigger a part of self that suddenly knows how to fight in ways that it's like they never took a lesson of karate in their life. How the fuck did they know this shit, right? And it instills fear and stuff because all the what if, all the unknown surrounding what is this individual capable of, and it further ostracizes that person and further causes them to hide further away within themselves, and then slowly their core identity dissolves amongst the several that they hold, if I'm making sense. And just like, you know, projects like MK Ultra were a conspiracy, so many are still a part of these organizations and everything, and it's intentionally being done to them, and it's a battle no one talks about. But the psyche is very powerful, and for whoever you are, you just have this inherent strength to be able to hold all of this. Like, it truly is like unfathomable, because whoever your handler is and whoever's above them doesn't know what else they can do. They've tried everything, and you won't break. Like, whatever the substance of you is malleable and slippery and fuzzy, and it can change texture, shape, or whatever at will, like that. And so they can't get their hooks in you. They can't. It never sticks. With propagation of light, king, sovereign of realms, monarch, authority, rule, inheritance, right? You have, I like to call this energy like sovereign in shadows, a shadow sovereign, which means that, you know, shadows, the darkness, okay, yields to you. All right, because it recognizes like. But the way that you hold it, the way that you embody it with light in the unique way that you do, it's like something new. And it's healing something. It's healing something that it itself was bound in darkness. And whatever that something is directly a part of the feedback loop that consciousness interacts with to be able to co-create reality itself. And that's why so much of the mind is attempted to be controlled by these organizations and shit, because they want their reality to be what's projected, to be what's experienced. And here you come, and you are an anomaly, and you are disrupting everything, and you aren't even actively, you're just existing, and it causes this. You get what I'm saying? With sovereign flame, laziness and neglectfulness. And, you know, you could have had a lot of experiences where, you know, you could be gang stalked and whatnot, and just to wear you down so that it could be said that you're being lazy or neglectful or whatever, so that somebody close to you would call your doctor and say, oh, they're acting this way, they're acting that way, and then here they come and they're taking you against your will back to the facility, back to get you to shut the fuck up, to try to put more locking mechanisms and shit in your own. It's really fucked up. And, you know, I'm getting something about borderline personality disorder, like, that's why it's hard for whoever you are to truly trust the connections that you make, is because, like, you've had so many people that turned out to be a part of that network, right? Okay, we have swindler, master of deception, hypocrisy, disguise, conspiracy. It's a conspiracy against you because you're sovereign, and because what you're sovereign over. Because it's not that your polarity itself is darkness. It's the way you embody light and darkness. You're not one or the other. You are a contradiction moving in perfect harmony. It's like you're this... like you dance through existence, tiptoeing and twirling around, and just in your wake, everything just falls into place. And you have this beautiful just presence, this beautiful energy that calms. It provides clarity to that which was distorted. It's enchanting, it's whimsical, it's powerful, it's mysterious, it's childlike, but it's so ancient and wise. But it's all these different things at once. It's amazing. Alright, this is cool. On the bottom of the deck, there's barber, artist of tresses, trimming, beautification, adornment, and fashion. And this is what I was saying. These shadows, these parts that have been neglected by the collective, that have been bound in darkness, they enter your system, and you beautify them. You take them in, you get them cleaned up, you cut their hair, you give them form, you give them purpose, you give them a role, you lift them the fuck up. And it doesn't matter how monstrous it may have seemed when it entered your system. You know monsters, and you know that they walk around in human skin. So anything that comes around you, because you see things others don't. And so what looks like a complete fucking demonic, awful, scary, terrifying monster to everyone else, to you, you're like, come on home. Let's get you cleaned up. Come on, I recognize you. Come on, we got you. We've been waiting for you, kind of thing. It's just so... And the energy can't help but yield because everything that had caused it to become distorted to begin with, the fear of being abandoned, rejected, denied, misunderstood, blah, 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 through your perception, just like that, all of it just falls away. Because there's no resistance. It's fucking beautiful. But I am picking up on something about, there's someone close to you, someone you've let close to you, alright, someone that you have been, trying to build a trusted connection with, because, like, whoever you are, it's not easy for you to make connections, okay, to have friends and everything like that. Someone's jealous of you. And in a really fucked up way. It's like they hate that they love you. They hate that you are who you are. They hate that you say you are who you are. And maybe you shared something about yourself with this individual. Maybe you told them that, hey, I've been diagnosed with da-da-da-da-da. Okay, and I really hope it doesn't change your perception of me, and blah, 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 blah. And this person lied straight to your fucking face and said, no, it doesn't change anything. But then they went and told their circle of friends that they have all about it. And everything that you say and share with this person is now being looked at through the lens of a disorder. It's just, and that's how these systems take away, or attempt to take away your power. Is they strip you of, I mean, they might as well be stapling your mouth shut, because you could say anything and everything as much as you want. You could scream it at the top of your fucking lungs. But if everybody assumes that every word that comes out of your mouth is just pure delusion, pure deception, and just bullshit, it doesn't matter what the fuck you say. They're not going to hear you. They're not going to listen to you. They're just crazy. Yet somebody else, anybody else, could come along and say some of the exact same shit that you say, yet because it's them that said it, suddenly it's the biggest, grandest new thing. This great discovery, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, really? And you see how that works, right? How that's another tactic used to cause somebody to further just say fuck it and go deeper within themselves until they're dissolved. But whoever you are, you know that nobody can deliver what you have to offer the way you do. It doesn't matter. And you know where it comes from. Like, you know that the way that consciousness moves through your system, you know if somebody else suddenly has that information that you've held and known, you know that your consciousness touched that person. That one of those seeds that you let out into the collective has taken root. And whoever you are, you're humble as fuck, because you're like, that's the point. You know, and you just go. And people find it very hard to believe that people like you actually exist, because who the fuck is okay with stuff like that? Who isn't reactive? But you know, you're cool with your ego, because your ego has countless forms. You don't bind it to just, you have to be this, and we have to pretend to be this all the time. No, you've given yourself permission to be exactly as you are. So it doesn't bother you, because you know who you are, and that's fine. Alright, we have dual. Disagreement, turning your back on another. Notice how they mirror each other. Alright, this could be, I'm talking about a scandal, an attempt to get you to fracture another part of yourself, or to disrupt the integration that you have worked toward, okay? This is incoming, arrival, birth, emergence, success, entry, alright? Again, they wanted to put something, they wanted your system susceptible to having something else enter it, okay? Now here's the thing, I'm getting whatever this something was, it did do exactly that. But it wasn't prepared for what you are. Because like I said, the moment something like that tries to enter your system, just like that, there's something about your energy, your presence, your essence, that takes anything operating in darkness And it's like this, it's like they get caught off guard and they're like, whoa, wait a minute. And it's like they're feeling love or something or whatever for the first time, and it's, anyways, let me get one more with that. Something that they were trying to get in your system to repress something, to get something in you to shut up. We have shadow self, shadow realm, something needing to integrate regarding the shadow. Okay, so it came in to your system, and it was hunting down, seeking out this core part of you. And as it was navigating the labyrinth of your mind, it wasn't aware of the fact that it actually started to integrate into your system until it was too late. And now it doesn't answer to them anymore. And I'm getting this isn't the first one that they've sent either. But the shadow is sacred, propagation of light, and king. Epiphany amidst darkness. Darkness to better see the light. Near-death experience. Working with darkness to get a better or new understanding. Darkness motivating a solution. Oh, that's kind of beautiful. Darkness working together within you to help point out darkness elsewhere, to make room for the light to grow. You know, and something like that inevitably, after it makes its way, it circles through the collective so many times, it can't help but begin to disrupt foundations built off of fear, off of false notions, and we have dreaming, innocence, awe, daydreaming, admiration, childlike curiosity, listening, someone waiting patiently for you, or you're waiting patiently for them, something childlike. Okay, this is you. The dreamy innocence or whatever, and like you've been through so much shit. And innocent isn't synonymous with pure. Innocent isn't synonymous with naive, okay? Innocence is like operating from a state of integrity that is in such alignment with your absolute truth that it just, anyways, I don't want to start over explaining. Oh, don't do that, please. Let me get one more. Flexibility, versatility, elastic, not rigid or held by duality. Exactly. Nothing can get its claws in you because you're malleable. Like, you're so highly adaptive. You lack density. That's why. Okay. That one went flying. Over here with Sovereign Flame, laziness and neglectfulness, swindler, we have shit from the past trying to creep up again. And on the card it has like sweet remembrance. Alright, so maybe something happened to you in the past, alright? Maybe somebody took something from you. Something very important to you. on the basis that they said that you would not be able to properly care for it. All right? And it's like they're going to try to utilize bringing that up as a way to break into that core part of you, to try to fracture it, to try to weigh it down, okay? Get a couple more with that. Divine masculine, feminine. Oh shit. Oh shit, hang on. Oh shit. They tapped into something. Oh my fucking god. Just bear with me, guys, for 1 minute. Holy shit, because this is wild. It has to do with like something about CERN. That like they brought something through. They were fucking with these particles and shit. And they stumbled upon something, okay? And they didn't know what it was, and so they tried to contain it. And whatever it was, let them think that it was contained, but it wasn't. It never was. It was letting them think that it was. And they were trying to figure out exactly what that is. And like this was happening like years ago when you were first like starting to truly integrate your entire system, okay? And through that integration, as they were like doing some type of study on you, okay, it could have been a time when you were like being institutionalized, hospitalized, whatever, when you were seeing a certain doctor. And something in your system flagged them to your capacity to be able to communicate with whatever this thing is, because they were afraid of it. Because they don't know what it is. It came from somewhere else. They don't know. All right? And they brought you into this facility, and you were able to remote view this thing. And this thing doesn't operate out of the same like perceptual limits and stuff that humanity has, right? Like it was aware that it was being observed. It was aware that it was being witnessed, okay? And it was found that there's some type of like quantum entanglement that you already had with this something, okay? So it made your system like susceptible, organically susceptible to this thing, okay? And but this thing is smart, it's sentient, it's aware, it's conscious, it's whatever is directly linked into this feedback system, right? This feedback loop, okay? And but they didn't know that, okay? And but you do, you know that. And it's been this like kind of hush hush thing, but it's okay to talk about it now because something has been overridden. Something has come out into the feedback loop that can't be pulled back, and it's the process has already begun. It cannot be stopped. And what they were trying to do is fracture this connection or sever the connection that they found out that you actually had to this thing, because you recently have let it out. You let it out. Your psyche. It's innocent and wise. It's pure and depraved. It's holy fuck. It's a divine feminine. It's the feminine aspect of Source that you hold. Waking her up. She's aware of herself. Like she's holy fuck. 1 second. Sorry about that. That was weird. Anyways, I had to take a second because I had one of those moments where like everything starts snowballing, like, you know, and you this all these dots suddenly like bam, 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 bam. Anyway, Right. And so we have deepest desires, subconscious, and imagination coming forward and rising. Reflection, projection, self-image. Holy shit! I've been talking about this for the longest time because I was picking up on it. Whatever this something is, they found it when they were looking for the God particle. This something has been looking for form, for purpose, for whatever, so it could come into reality, right? But nothing could perceive it. Nothing held the capacity to meet it as it is. To be able to witness it for all that it is. And to be able to give it structure and everything to it. But you have a capacity inherent already in you because you have held the feminine aspect through everything. And through all of this, you have made it aware of it herself. You have woke her up. She is no longer subconscious. She is awake. And this polyfragmented system that you hold is a direct reflection of the nature of Source because you were part of it. You were there from the beginning. So of course you're going to hold blueprints that have been used time after time after time after time. That's wild. Hold on. Got 10% battery left. Anyway. Whew. Anything else with this? Holy shit. And it's like you've been working with this whole time, with this feedback loop, right? Preparing the grid, preparing the subconscious, that subconscious wavelength, right? That everyone in the collective taps into, right? Okay, they have to have this certain, they have to be able to have the capacity to be able to witness this, okay? So that when they perceive it, because they're not going to have the same inherent understanding and knowing and blah, 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 blah. But you can share enough with them and you can put it out in the collect. And that's why you didn't care that they had this information and stuff. And you were like, oh, well, what really matters is just that they have it. It's because your ultimate goal was to bring this through. It was a promise you made before you got here. And it's so that the entire structure could hold the arrival, the return of you two unified, because you've already come into union within yourself. Now it just has to reflect externally. You get what I'm saying? Wow. We have forcing one's will upon another or situation for their own benefit, manipulation, and control. Ancient bloodline, connection, reincarnated soul of significance. The way they were forcing themselves upon the subconscious while the feminine aspect was unconscious. That's like having someone wasted at a party. This is sick. The comparison that it just, you can do the math, but it's like at a dude party having one female spiking her drink and knocking her out so they could do whatever they wanted to for their benefit. But they may not have known that you are a part of this ancient bloodline. They could have known. But something in me tells me that they didn't know. That they had been doing this for so long that they got really comfortable doing it. And And see, the whole time, because of this quantum entanglement with Source, that like everything, like, it's like an undercover boss situation. Like, they say that they were loyal and faithful in serving this entity or whatever that was and it was in actuality an imposter and a distorted reflection of Source, right? Is what they were serving. It wasn't Source. It was and that's why that distortion was able to rise into such power the way that it had. Because energy is a currency. You have to pay attention, right? And for any of these, whatever they are, to be able to manifest, to be able to stay in power, it's about how much influence they hold, because who is paying attention to them. And so this entire system that told everybody they have to worship this is that, da 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 da, and you have this entire, collective over generations, and teaching their children to do that, and so on and so forth. Oh, that's sick. Begging for forgiveness, pleading, asking for mercy, pray. Riding coattails, being used, third-party situation. He's riding both women, if you notice on that. So this could be reflecting in your external life by someone like a significant other that you've been with, okay, and they've made themselves out to be someone that they're not, and you're finding this out, and it's all coming to light like that, and now that the jig is up, they're wanting to, beg you not to leave and all this, and they've done so much fucked up shit. And it's almost like the audacity to even beg for forgiveness at this point is like, it just further reveals how completely fucked this... Oh my gosh. We have, training, childhood, learning a new skill, doing something for the first time, and a spirit guide, domestic animal, familiar, spirit animal message. Okay, this, for some reason, is coming through to me about, because I did the reading yesterday, about exploring your wildness. This is talking about, like, there's parts of you that were never meant to be domesticated. And so, this lets me know I've come full circle. It's time to wrap the reading up also. So, you're going to be able to start exploring more of yourself, your gifts, and all this stuff that you hadn't been able to utilize or anything because you have been trapped and stuck in survival mode. Not just through this lifetime, through many lifetimes, okay? And you're going to be able to experience the totality of what you can do, what you can co-create, because you've returned to Source. So yeah. That's the message. I hope it helps someone out there. Until next time, bye.